Hi, you guys. So it's been quite some time since I've posted a video dealing with the topic of periods, heavy periods, long periods, crazy periods, frustrating periods, annoying periods. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's been a while since I talked about this, mostly because after I did the initial iron therapy that I needed, my periods pretty much regulated. But I have been listening to a lot of you guys and um, talking to people I know in my community and talking to other women and talking to doctors and researchers. And I have, gathered some new findings. I guess you could say some more support of knowledge that could probably help you guys who are dealing with heavy periods. I have been listening to all of you guys who comment, you guys who leave awesome feedback. It's been very helpful for me to kind of figure out what I want to focus research on in the future. I think I mentioned in like a previous video that I had worked with a chemist, he's a doctor now, on a multivitamin for women that addresses the issues for some of you guys who have difficulty taking the iron. Just based on some of the research that I was doing with this chemist, we kind of figured out that it could deal most with some of women having issues with absorption. Um, so we came together and we designed a multivitamin for women who may have heavy periods or irregular periods. It should aid it with the absorption of iron and also give you some additional nutrients to kind of help regulate some things going on internally. So far it's just been formulated. I haven't found a manufacturer that I want to work with yet. I'm still kind of shopping around. There's probably like a few adjustments I want to make with the formulation, but for the most part, it's done. I'm really excited to kind of put it out there for you guys to try. What I'm going to do with this video is at the bottom of the YouTube video, there is a link to participate in the survey for pre-order. So if this is something that you're willing to try, if you tried the iron and it really didn't work, if you would like to try this multivitamin that could kind of combat some of the issues you might have been having with the iron, let me know. You could do the pre-order, and if you do that, you'll be some of the first women to try it, and you can leave me feedback. And kind of be a supporter of what I'm trying to build as far as preventative health for women. So if this is something you're interested in, fill out the survey and you'll be on that awesome list of the first few people who will get a chance to try it out. All right, so again, because this is about us taking ownership of our bodies, a lot of the times we go to doctors and they don't give us the right information. They've turned it into um, an area where there's little accountability. Like you can go to a doctor and they pretty much sum up all women's issues into just a few symptoms, and that's just not the case. I may be dealing with issues with iron, but other women may be dealing with fibroids or cervical cancer or hormonal imbalances or other issues or nutritional deficits. And taking time to see patients or better yet, people, because if you stay away from being a patient, but to see people as people and addressing the issues that we have, so we're not sucked into these cycles of being patients, of having to rely on um, of these drugs that have these crazy side effects that we have to be tied into, for the rest of our lives. And just taking ownership of our health and our wellness, I feel like that is such a more positive and supportive direction to go in. And I'll talk about this more in other videos, but I do want to now talk about the discovery that I made. Maybe some of you guys have heard of this before, and if you have, please comment because I would like to hear what you guys all have to say about this. So a little while back ago, again, this is not my narrative, this is someone else's that I'm relaying to you guys because I'm hoping it will help you. Um, some time ago, I spoke to a woman who had told about my issue with my heavy periods. She then told me her story about how she journeyed in her life, how when she was 16, she started having her periods. They lasted a really, really long time. They lasted for almost 6 months. And she didn't know why. She was really young. She was just starting her period, so she didn't know why. Luckily for her, She ended up in the ER, and they gave her a blood transfusion. They said that she was really close to losing her life, actually. If you think about this, it's so crazy that we live in a world where people can lose their lives from having long periods. But she almost was close to losing her life. She had to get a blood transfusion. And from that moment on, she continued down a life where she just continually had irregular periods. Her periods would go away for months and months, for like 3 to 6 months, and they'll come back and last 3 to 6 months, and she would bleed out. She started having issues with infertility. She now was in her early 30s. She was now in her early 30s, and she wanted to have a child, and she was having issues with infertility, partly because of the irregular cycle. Now during this time, she's gone to several doctors, maybe 4 or 5, and they basically told her the same thing. There's nothing wrong with you. Everything looks fine. Here's birth control. So they prescribed her the infamous birth control, even though she's trying to have a baby. I guess they said when she started the birth control and she was able to have her a normal cycle, then eventually she would get pregnant. They just told her all sorts of things, but really what most doctors do, just, they want to get you out of there. Finally, she was recommended to a African doctor, a doctor who had actually studied in Africa for 8 years, and he had his credentials as a doctor. But when he came here, of course, he did not accept all of them, so he had to go to medical school all over again. He ended up being in total of years, spending about 16 years in school. So this guy was very, very knowledgeable. So when he went to her, he looked at all of her charts and looked at her background of all the tests that had been done, and he said that I would like to give you a test for your prolactin levels. Prolactin, Prolactin, and I will post it on this video so you guys can see it clearly. I'm sorry. But he said, I would like to give you a blood test for your prolactin levels, which is a hormone, right, and see how that goes. So she took this blood test for her prolactin. If you guys are curious about what prolactin actually does, prolactin is a hormone that helps your body produce breast milk. When you're pregnant, you're only supposed to have high levels of prolactin when you're pregnant. When you're not pregnant, the levels are not supposed to be really high. So when she went to go take this test, her prolactin levels were really high. They're over, I guess, 100. And not supposed to be that high. And so this doctor immediately knew what to do. He prescribed her an anti-lactating drug that would help regulate her hormones, the prolactin level hormone, which would stop the milk production and would stop the irregular periods and the heavy bleed outs. If you're curious more, let's just add a little bit more information about prolactin and why this can be a serious issue. Prolactin is mostly produced, is like regulated by your pituitary gland in your brain. If you have high levels of prolactin, it can sometimes be a sign of having a brain tumor in your pituitary gland. So after they had ran this test on her and they had seen that her levels were really, really high, they did a scan on her brain because they wanted to make sure she didn't have tumors in her pituitary gland. The test came out really clear, but then the doctors gave her the medicine that I talked about before, the anti-lactating drugs. My friend took them for 2 months, and after 2 months, her periods became regular. She worked with a fertility specialist and this doctor, and eventually she did become pregnant. With her, she had to have sex on her. Here's another tip: she wasn't getting pregnant. She had to have sex on her period for her to get pregnant. I guess some women, they can only get pregnant if they have sex while they're on their period. So she had to have sex while she was on her period, and eventually she was able to and then also have her periods be regular finally. And she was eventually able to get pregnant. But let me just take a step back and talk about prolactin again. Most women who end up having issues with prolactin levels, like I said before, have issues with their pituitary gland in their brain, but also it could be a sign of having polycystic ovarian syndrome. polycystic, so PSO, polycystic ovarian syndrome. Um, this is one of many different like signs of having polycystic ovarian syndrome, and it turned out that my friend had symptoms of it, including this issue with her prolactin. Um, and it was just sending her hormones false signals, like telling her that she was pregnant when she wasn't, and just made her periods become completely out of whack, and so they really need to be regulated. So what I'm telling all of you guys, if you're trying the iron and it's not working, it could be that you're having absorption issues, you're having difficulty absorbing the iron, or it's not digesting right. If that's the case, please, I highly suggest you pre-order the multivitamin, or consider testing it out. You can click on the survey below this video if you're interested. Again, it hasn't been made yet, but if you're interested in trying this one last time, I made this with you guys in mind, with myself in mind. No woman should have to struggle with this anymore. I'm waiting for doctors to catch on to this, but you guys know about it. So if you're interested, please fill out the survey. Next, what I've been mentioning to some of you guys in the comments section is that you have to go see a doctor. They have to do blood tests. You don't know what could be going on in your blood. Prolactin is one of the things I would request. Go to your doctor, tell them to run a test for blood disorders, and then tell them to run a test to check your prolactin levels and make sure they're not high. Your prolactin, I'm giving you guys a lot of information, and like this is just stuff that I've researched, and I had to call my friend again last night to make sure that she's okay and like how everything has been since she's been seen. But a normal prolactin level for a non-pregnant woman should be between 4 and 23 nanograms per milliliter. Anything above 23 is considered high, and they should really start considering putting you on medicine to bring the levels down, or testing you to make sure you don't have any issues with your pituitary gland, thyroid, other parts of your body that could be making your prolactin levels really high. I just think that just finding this out, I'm now kind of inspired too. Like I'm gonna go in for my yearly and get my pap smear and get tested for everything in my blood, STDs and high cholesterol and all that stuff. And I think what I'm going to also do is get tested for my prolactin also. And then once I do that, I will definitely make a new video and share you guys the findings, because I'm interested too, because I'm here with like huge, F-cup boobs, and I'm just like, maybe my prolactin levels are off the chain too. I don't know. Maybe that's why my boobs are so big. I don't know. Like, again, I'm just being foolish right now, but you really don't know. Like, you don't know what's going on until they can test it, which is why I'm not completely anti-doctor. I just think that doctors need to be more vigilant. They need to show accountability. They need to be responsible for their patients and treat patients individually, to treat people as individuals. Don't just lump us all up into one group. Every woman is different. My body is not the same as your body. It's not the same as her body or her body. And for doctors to just say that birth control is like a one pill wonder, it could stop you from getting pregnant, it could stop your period, it could do all this stuff. I just think that it's foolish. It's foolish to believe that. It's foolish to buy into that. And I wouldn't take birth control unless I'm trying to control the birth of a child. That's what birth control is for. To regulate hormones, our bodies should be able to do that naturally. And if there is some need for intervention, then I think that figuring out the root cause is probably the best way to go about it. Just to update you on my friend, so she took the medicine that they gave her. She took it for 2 months, and then after that, she was able to get off of it. Her periods were then regular, and she was eventually able to have a child, and she was normal. So this is not a drug you take forever. You take it until your body gets readjusted to a normal balance and schedule and all that stuff, and then you get off of it. Okay. All right, so I hope that this is helpful to you guys. Again, feel free to fill out the survey below, comment, and share if you've heard anything about prolactin levels, if you're struggled with this before, if they told you that you've had these high levels, how were you treated afterwards? I would love to find out more about this, because to me, this is brand new, and I actually feel kind of freaked out that not more people know about this, because based on like the quick research I did online, it seems to be fairly a common issue for women who randomly have their periods stop. Like you're having your own periods and they just stop for a long time and they restart. It's one of those things that happens sometimes to women, and it's just not well known the treatment for it. Like I've been told when I went to the doctor and I had the same issue, they're just saying, oh, sometimes it happens. They made it seem like it was like the normal body reproduction doing that, but no, there's a reason for everything. Having crazy prolactin levels can cause you to sometimes skip periods and have heavy periods. So yes, that is one cause. So putting it out there. Again, I'm not a doctor. Please make sure you see a doctor. Again, sorry for making another long video, but there's so much information I wanted to give you guys. And I really hope that this helps you. If you have any questions, ask your doctor, comment, like, subscribe. Thank you. Hope this helps. Don't forget to fill out the survey below this video. And I look forward to hearing from you guys. Bye.